Well, as college baseball season wraps up, the Governors unfortunately wrapped their season up a little early. Let's talk a little Austin Peay baseball with the head coach of the Austin Peay Governors, Coach Roland Fanning. Coach, thanks for taking the time. Brian Reeves with you from the Governors Sports Network. And let's go back to your first season in this last season for the Governors. How would you encapsulate the season that was for Austin Peay in 2023?
Yeah, I take it as a huge positive. A year ago, almost to the date, we got the job here, and you look at it from a new coaching staff to 28 new players meshing with 9 returners, to the renovations to the field, to ticket sales and energy level, and just kind of a new jolt, right? I think if you look back at it, the 7-win improvement, first time I think since 2018 or 16, whatever it may be. There's a lot of positives, and there's always negatives if you're looking for it, but I try to see the positives, and I thought this year was a huge success from our community support to our fan support and our alumni getting back engaged in what we're doing.
I agree with the success part, but there was also problems we had to face. And the biggest, I think, was the injury bug. It cost us quite a few things. Early in the season, hit the pitching rotation more than anything. Late in the season, it was the offense. Is it too simplified to say that the injury problems are what plagued this Governors team and kind of made you have to change the script for the season?
Yeah, Brian, you know I hate excuses, right? I hate it. But injury is part of the sport. Yep. We weren't the only ones dealing with it in college baseball, but we started off 2-9. First weekend, we lose Connor Gordon to a hamate. We lose John Bay to a hamate. Peyton Jula goes down with mono. And so that was a huge hit. And then we kind of got to a point where we were actually above 500 again.
Yes.
We were on about a 5 or 6 weekend stretch where we were winning conference games. We were tied for second in the league. And then all of a sudden, Harrison Brown, who's hitting about 425 in conference play, gets hit with a brutal fastball in the face. And he goes down for the rest of the season. And then the very next game, Friday against Florida Gulf Coast, Garrett Martin, at the time, was probably going to be the ASUN Player of the Year, oblique tear. And again, those were huge losses. I don't care where you're at when you lose those type of players for that significant amount of time. It's going to take you a little bit to figure out. And kind of got us at a tough stretch in the season, and we didn't really recover the way we should have. But yeah, it was definitely a punch in the gut for sure.
Well, you mentioned it, so I'm going to go back to that point. And unfortunately, I'm going to take you back to Friday night, April the 28th.
Yep.
Getting ready for a home series where the number 1 and number 2 team in the ASUN. Yep. We're heading in to Raymond C. Hand Park on Joe Maynard Field to battle for the top of the ASUN. And unfortunately, got swept through that series. Yep. Florida Gulf Coast goes out of here with 3 games to win there. Dealing with some injuries, and again, coming off a complete change of the lineup going into Game 2 and Game 3 in that series. Yep. Is it too simple to ask this question? Did you find yourself being more of a baseball coach or more being a guy just trying to figure out his team at that point? Because it seems like from that date, that April 28th date on, this team was a completely different squad. Yeah.
Well, the cool part was that we had meaningful baseball being played at Raymond C. Hand Park for the first time in a long time. Again, we were playing for the lead in the ASUN Conference in the first year of being here. And the fact that our guys had climbed back and gotten to that point, I thought was really encouraging to see.
Huge.
And, you go into a weekend series that has a lot of excitement and everybody knows what we're playing for. And again, yeah, it was definitely kind of a little bit of a setback, knowing that, you weren't kind of going into that fully healthy. And to give credit to Florida Gulf Coast, they were one of the top teams in the country at the time. They were ranked in the top, I think, 15 in 3 of the polls. And they got us. And, it really kind of took it challenged us a little bit. It challenged our personality. It challenged our toughness a little bit. But I thought it made us better because we had some guys had to step up and got to play. And I think down the stretch when we're fighting to get into that ASUN tournament, that we weren't supposed to make, right?
Yep.
I think some of those guys got to play in some moments that got them ready for that. And again, I hate talking about the negative, but at the same time, I thought it was really awesome the fact that we had gotten to where we were from where we started. Again, we started 2-9 after a really tough schedule. We got back above 500, and we were playing meaningful baseball in year 1. And again, I think that was the really cool part for me about, even though I don't like getting beat, but it was cool the fact to see us playing meaningful baseball.
And you mentioned a team picked 12th in the preseason, battling for the top spot, and with the opportunity right in front of them. Yeah. I want to talk a little offensive numbers, and forgive me for looking down and reading these verbatim. Team hit 297 this year. That's 21st best in the season for the Governors. Yeah. Slugged it at a 488 clip. That's 5th best in program history. 418 runs. That's 75th this year in Division I. That's 4th best in Austin Peay baseball history. 139 doubles, had 2 20-20 guys. Those 139 second most in a season for Governors baseball. 75 home runs, 253 walks, 90 stolen bases. Your thoughts overall on how this offensive unit came together for Austin Peay?
Yeah, I want to give credit to Coach Kimball and Coach Littell, who work with the hitters every day. I get to run the offense, but we hired good coaches. We hired some really good humans. They're available. Their best attribute is they're always available to our players. We had a bunch of guys. I think in the stat is we had 19 players come over here and get actually like more appearances they've ever had in their college career. And I think in the world of the transfer portal, that's a big thing to find whenever your next step is. Offensively, I thought we had a really good year. I thought we left a little bit on the table towards the end, but at the same time, like we had some guys just doing some really special things, and I credit their work. I credit like we have some guys that are in the facility when we're not. We have some guys that are chasing greatness. We have some guys that the special part about Austin Peay is that there's been guys come through here that played professional baseball, played in the big leagues. And we got guys that are chasing that as well. And again, our offensive coaches did a tremendous job. And I think that was what people were really afraid of, especially when they come here to the hand, because it's an offensive place at times. And again, but it wasn't just one-dimensional. I think a lot of times in the past here, there's been a lot of home run hitters. We were able to steal bases. We took our walks, and we hit a ton of doubles.
Agreed.
And again, I think when we were really winning, I thought our offense was really exciting to watch.
I'm going back to your lineup with 19 of your 22 transfers came in with either their most innings pitched, their most at-bats, their most pitching appearances. So playing time and opportunities abound here at Austin Peay. Yeah. Let's talk specifically about a couple of Governors. As you go through, I want to highlight a couple. 2 players with more than 10 home runs. First time the Governors had that since 2018. First time you had 2 players hit 20 or more doubles in a season since 1999, excuse me. Almost went Prince on you and get the right 1999 for you. Yeah. But had 2 players with 80 or more hits first time since 2013. And to me, and every baseball coach and baseball guy knows, it starts with the leadoff man. That's Clayton Gray. Yeah. 83 total hits. That's 50th in Division I this year. 24 doubles on the season, 4th best in Austin Peay program history. 24 stolen bases. That's 6th best in Austin Peay history. And he got the long ball going too. Let's talk about your leadoff guy and the 2020 guy in Clayton Gray.
Yeah, really proud of him. I've recruited Clayton Gray when he was a freshman in high school, when I was at one of my other schools. And, the greatest thing about Clayton is that he doesn't like to settle. And he's always looking for more. And, the cool thing about Clayton is he started off the year, I'd have to check this, like 1 for 25, or it was not a great start. But you knew you knew the player. Coming. Yeah, you knew it was coming. And again, when that guy got our team going, he was kind of the igniter, the energy guy, the leader. He was a vocal leader. He played hard. And he had a phenomenal career. He was chasing a 25 and 25 club on the stolen bases and doubles. He was really close to that. I think you're going to see a guy coming here next year who's going to have some consistency. I think that's going to be a big deal with our team coming back, just consistency, right? Knowing they're going to be walking through the locker room, again, the same locker room, not leaving and being somewhere for more than a year. I think you're going to see even a more confident player, because this kid's got the ability to play at the next level. And again, I thought he had a heck of a year, but I also think there's more room for him to grow.
Let's talk about Lyle MillerGreen, second team All-A Sun, made the John Olerud watch list with the 2-way player, going to the bump for you and also stepping in the box for you. 16 home runs, was the 4th Governor in program history to have 80 or more hits, or one of the 4th, 15 or more home runs. So you look at his numbers, and again, asking him to play 2 ways for you, he tried and he gave you everything. Yeah. Ultimate competitor for you in this program. Yeah, really surprised about the pitching side, to be honest with you. We recruited him as something he wanted to try to do. And I was with him last year and never actually saw him on the mound, and had a great fall camp, earned the Saturday job. And he was a difference maker. When he hit batting practice, people stopped to watch him hit batting practice. He's one of the, probably has the most raw power than maybe anybody in all of college baseball. I don't care where you're at. In all of college baseball, he is maybe second to nobody. His effort and his work and how he took care of his body. He showed up every day ready to play. And that's what I think his consistency, again, knowing that he was going to be in the lineup every day, I think was huge for him. The guy had 80-plus hits. He had 16 homers. He started, I think, 14, 15 games. I mean, he was just an ultimate competitor. And I think you'll see more guys like Lyle
come here and have these type of years because, again, just kind of our model and what we're looking for and what we're trying to keep growing here from the recruiting standpoint is a guy like Lyle MillerGreen who has all the ability in the world but maybe hasn't had the consistent at-bats or playing time to actually reach his potential. And I think, if you ask him, I think it was one of the best decisions he made. And I was really proud of him for the work he put in to get the result that he got.
I want to mention one more guy specifically, and that's John Gazdar.
Yeah.
I want to start off the field first. Academic All-A-Sun performer. Your team last fall, 3.56 GPA as a team. That's a program high last fall. Didn't do shabby in the spring as well. But you look at John, 24 doubles. One of the hardest guys to strike out across the board.
Yeah.
He got it done. Everybody says this is a student athlete.
Yeah.
John Gazdar is the definition of student athlete. He produced in the classroom and on the field for this Governor program.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Matthew Kilpatrick, our academic coordinator. The guy's an absolute rock star. He had our guys on point in the fall and the spring. Spring was actually the highest spring GPA of all time, 3.4, by the way. I got to make sure I put that in there. But yeah, our guys did really good in the classroom. That's a big deal. And so, but also I think guys who don't have worries in the classroom off the field can be better competitors and think clearly on the field, right?
Agreed.
I think it goes hand in hand. And John is a guy that came to us from Chabot Junior College out in Northern California. We have some former alums from that part of the world as well. And again, I think he just over exemplifies what a student athlete is. And whether it be all the doubles he hit, he only made 7 errors on the year playing shortstop. The guy actually played a little bit through an ankle injury as well, twice this year. The guy could lay a bunt down. The guy could hit a home run. And, the point, the one thing the pro scouts like about him is that, he doesn't strike out. He puts the ball in play, and he's getting some, professional attention from scouts because of that. And,
well earned.
And again, we weren't the team we were without him having the year he had because the consistency of him being in the middle lineup, he hitting the 4-hole and playing shortstop and being behind those guys that really swung the bat a lot, right? Having a guy that could, drive in some runs for us, he was key in that offense.
On the mound this year. This is an interesting year on the mound. We'll just say that with some very high highs and unfortunately some lows that cost us as well. 516 batters faced, struck out the second best, 516 strikeouts, the second most in Governor program history, but 329 walks. So you got the high and the low there. You look at the third best strikeouts per 9 innings percentage at 9.39 Ks per 9, 10 saves this year, 16th best in program history. A lot of guys on that mound. Most appearances they've ever played, most innings they've ever pitched, batters faced, opportunities again. Talk about your pitching staff from this past year.
Yeah, I'll give Jake Hendrick a lot of credit. Coming in, I think we returned only 3 pitchers from the year before and not a lot of experience. I think we had 2 guys that had some real experience on the mound here at Austin Peay. And, the fact that we struck out 516 hitters for the second time in school history and we hadn't even been here really a year yet, right? And the system hadn't really gotten put in. And, and again, we started the year with a couple of guys on the shelf from having some arm injuries. And again, I think that the consistency of being here another year for a lot of these guys you'll see their improvement. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to see that improvement, right? But I thought the work, the effort, the scouting reports, the arm care, the strength conditioning component. I thought our team did a really good job of just showing up every day with the workmanship and trying to get better and the craft to get better. Pitching's hard. And again, it all starts and ends on how well you pitch. We can talk about the offense all day. We all like offense, but pitching and defense was what wins championships. And we had some guys actually have some highlight years in Jacob Kush and Jacob Weaver and Devin Pollard. We had some guys that actually had some really good years. And I'm just really proud of our staff and how we finished and the growth of some guys. And again, there were some walks in there, but at the same time, we have a lot to be proud of on the mound and looking forward to what's next.
Well, you mentioned Kush specifically, and to me that goes back when we talked offensively about opportunities. Kush is the guy who came to us, wasn't getting the innings, wasn't getting the outings in the former league, comes to us as a midweek starter, starts the season as your Tuesday guy, works his way into the weekend rotation, works his way into your number 1 Friday night starter, and has a fantastic 81 strikeout season, led the team with 9.81 strikeouts per 9 innings. His role changed, but again, he was given the opportunity to go prove prove himself, and that's exactly what Jacob Kush did.
Yeah, I think he's going to be kind of a blueprint, almost like the model of what we talked to other guys about. He came to us from an SEC school as a reliever. He wanted the chance to start, try to extend his career, but that's his passion. He came here, and I think he had 15 consecutive starts. He turned out to be our Friday guy. He was really consistent on Friday for us, giving us 5+ innings a lot of times. And I really liked his growth. I wish I had another year with him because, again, he was just kind of getting going. And but I think that's what kids that are looking to come to Austin Peay, they can look at a Jacob Kush and say, this guy went here. He actually pitched on a weekend, and that's the big deal. These guys want to perform on a weekend because that's what wins championships, performing on the weekend and also getting yourself to the professional level. And I think that's a great model for guys to see when maybe looking at our year and all the new players and what we did in such a short time. But guys having to be able to walk that same walk as him.
So let's look at the league as a whole. Governors make the move as a university. Austin Peay makes a move to the ASUN Conference. We've picked 12th in the preseason poll, get into the 8th spot. Again, midway through, we're battling for the top spot as well. Make your way to the postseason tournament. Nobody thought we'd make our way to DeLand, Florida. Get our first ASUN tournament win as well. How do you see Austin Peay fitting into this ASUN baseball product moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's a heck of a league. Again, you look across I tell people this in recruiting, it's kind of the mid-major conference inside the SEC map, from the Arkansas, Tennessee, to all the way to Florida, right? And
great point.
Have some teams that have been in the postseason, whether that be regionals and super regionals, and the amount of draft picks come out of this conference. Again, that was one of the things that attracted me to the job, actually, going into the ASUN. And I think that we're attracted because if you look at our stat sheet compared to the tradition of most in this league, we're second to nobody, from the championships won standpoint to the All-Americans to the All-Conference players to the Players of the Year. We have a lot of things to hang our hat on. There's a lot of schools in our league that wish they had our tradition. And that's something we look forward to build upon inside of this conference because that's the challenge, right, is being the top of the ASUN where we were once before in our previous conference. And I think that's where the fun part lies, is being able to compete in the ASUN at a high level. And I think I think our players and our fan base and our alums saw that, oh, heck, we can actually do this here. And it might happen a little quicker than we thought. And, for us to finish 8th, that's a heck of a response from where we started and where we were picked. But I wouldn't be expected to be picked 12th again, I can tell you that.
I don't think so either. We talk about a lot of first for this team and first for moving to a new conference. A first for you as well. Yeah. First year head coach, first at the helm, at the top of the step in the dugout, if you will.
Sure.
I'm going to make you kind of self-scout yourself. How do you think Roland Fanning did as a first-year baseball coach at Austin Peay? Yeah,
that's a really good question. Something I think about every single day. I tell the guys nobody's a bigger critic about myself than myself. And, look, I try to find the joy in everything. I don't let anything try to steal my joy. In this profession, everybody's like, what didn't you do, or what could you have done better? Yeah, there's a lot of things I could have done better. But I'm going to reevaluate those things and be better for our team, whether that be more present in practice at times or letting things around me kind of, get me a little off my schedule. But again, I wouldn't have changed a single thing because as we tell our players, you got to earn everything, right? And I think we earned the right to be in the conference tournament. Yeah, we were the 8th seed, but you know what? We earned that. Yeah. There's things we could have done differently, maybe better throughout the year. There's no doubt about it. And there's things that you look at on the year and in your review, right? And you want to make sure you do better the next. But I would say we did a lot of really good things. I think it's a positive step forward. I think there's some excitement here that maybe hasn't been here in a while. I think the people in Clarksville, one of the things I want to say this, but I wanted this to be Clarksville's team. And I think I really want to credit people in town here around our program really latching on and trying to help us out, from selling out a banquet to doubling the amount of season ticket sales ever here to people just showing up and wanting to make our program better. So I think it was a huge success, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, let's talk about what's next. Yeah. This season, you mentioned it earlier, alumni engagement coming back, guys proud to come back. Those former governors that have been in the pros coming back and mentoring and talking to and working with these guys. The continuity in the clubhouse. Yes, you had a major roster overhaul last year, but that team came together really quickly for you. Yeah. The future of Austin Peay, and you know it inside the building is how positive it is, but the perception outside, it's brighter than it's been in several years. What lies ahead in your mind, in your vision for this Austin Peay baseball program?
I think we have to continue to grow in those areas that we're doing well in. I think, we got to keep challenging ourselves in the classroom. We got to keep challenging ourselves in doing things in the community, and we got to keep challenging ourselves to win the 12th championship. We won 11 of them, and the goal is to win the 12th one. And our goal is to win regionals, and our goal is to continue to try to get to the ultimate goal, which is to get to Omaha. And you see it in college baseball right now. There's a lot of 4 seeds and 3 seeds still playing, and they're in the final 16, right? And there's no reason why Austin Peay can't be one of those programs. And again, I think that's the draw us and our coaching staff. It's a draw of our players. But we want to win championship. That's what's next. That's what's on our brain every day when we wake up. That's what we're working towards all off season. And I think that's what we will continue to work towards as long as I'm the head coach here.
I got a few fingers that could use some rings. You got a couple over there?
I got a couple.
Too?
I do, yes.
And we appreciate all of you being with us, talking a little Austin Peay baseball. Roland Fanning, as always, so gracious with his time. Invite you to keep up with this Austin Peay baseball team. Follow us on Twitter at GovsBSB. You can also keep up with the official website of Austin Peay Athletics, letsgop.com. And as always, anything going on baseball related, you can find it at letsgop.com. For Roland Fanning, I'm Brian Reeves. Until next time, Governor fans, let's go Peay.